like, come on,
It's
let's
good
go.
to talk about this too, because
Mhm.
this is where you get understanding of the other side. Because so many times you're just like, what's the big deal? You know, I didn't do anything with that. Why are we still talking about this? Well, because someone else is experiencing something that you never have, so you don't understand.
Well, and it also kind of validates or explains why, there may be many people that get very angry and upset about this. And, this is a huge topic right now. And people are, like I said, I keep saying educate themselves, but, there's a lot of people that are very angry, and stories like this, I think, can help explain to the people that don't have these experiences maybe why there is anger there, and that anger is hurt and confusion, and talking about it, like I said, is just going to really open things up for people, make people be more empathetic to each other.
No.
Is we got to understand, just because it's not your lens doesn't mean the lens doesn't exist at all. I mean, it's about that understanding that we all have different lenses and different experiences that craft those lenses. And those lenses, those filters, are what make us do what we do and respond how we respond. And if you really want to understand somebody and why they do what they do, we got to drop our own lenses and try on their lenses.
I used to say all the time when I worked at my former institution that I could work with a known member of the KKK. That wouldn't bother me. What bothers me is that when you smile in my face and talk about me behind my back. If I know what I'm going into, then I know to change the lens through which I'm looking. I already can understand your point of view, even whether or not I understand it, I like it. I know which Shalon needs to show up that day. So have on my whole armor. I have my mindset. I don't want to let my good be evil spoken of. And I need to make sure that at the end of the day, that my work speaks for me, and that when it's all over, whether it's the Airbnb situation, whether it's hanging out with my friends, that when I leave, my integrity and my reputation are still intact. And that side door situation just looks like a setup for a bad ending.
You have to take a lot of additional steps that I would have never even come into scope with me, that I never even thought about, that someone else has to deal with or work through. And man, I think that makes you sit back and say, I'm pretty lucky that I don't have to think about those things or even cross my mind. That helps me understand, your paradigm, because your paradigm is much different than mine. I can't believe you felt like you had to do that. Like, it would never cross my mind to send the person a text or whoever I made reservations with. Hey, my husband's a big beefy white guy, and I'm a Caucasian female, and I got 2 crazy teenagers that sleep all day. The fact that you felt like you had to do that is not something I would ever have to feel like I needed to do. And on your example, we actually had that happen where we were renting a bed and breakfast, and the owner wasn't going to be there when we got there. We drove to Arkansas, and front of the house, over in this like little mailbox off to the side, they gave us instructions on how to get it. Our name with the envelope was in there. We had to unlock the front door. So not exactly the same scenario, but that happened just a couple of weeks ago. And I didn't think a thing of it, Micah. I was like, okay, cool.
I mean, you say privilege, and people get, but the Airbnb example is perfect example of that. That I have that privilege to where I could just walk into that backyard, not even worrying about anything else. That's privilege.
I wouldn't even dare think about it.
Yeah, that right there is privilege.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that with me. Like I said, my husband and I, we got a rental property a year or so ago, and it wouldn't have crossed our minds to explain our race or our career or anything personal. Like, we assume we pay the fee, we've rented the property, we're going to walk in. So to hear your experience about how very different it is, you know, that was eye-opening. And, you know, that's education that I think is crucial for people to hear, that, you know, people are having these different experiences. And, you know, even though you were doing it in a precautionary way, you know, you were just letting her know as a courtesy, and you were prepared for her to say, you know, no, thank you. You know, I think it's important for people to know that all of us are, you know, we may have similar experiences or events, but yeah, each experience for that event can be very different.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, thank you for asking for me to answer that. And, you know, I had an aha moment, especially after you shared what you would do. I was like, well, dang,
No,
I'm going to jump the fence and get in the grill because I want to get in the hotel so I can start like getting in the hot tub and everything. And you're like, am I okay to go? And I'm thinking about food.
no, that's good, man. Like you said, I think that once you have that empathy and understand that just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, you know, and just coming from a black male's point of view or a black person's point of view, I'm not expecting my white buddies to fix it, but I just want you to understand and realize that it is an issue, that this is really going on. There are implicit biases. There are just plain out racism. And we can be in the same situation, but it can be viewed totally different. You know?
Well, like I said, thank you for sharing that experience. I wouldn't have thought of that. I've never been in that position, and
Right.
and I, you know, that never occurred to me. And now, you know, that has enlightened me, and I'm realizing, like you just said, it might be the same activity, but different people are having different experiences. And, you know, through a little education, you know, and getting people to talk about it, like maybe we can make some change.
You know, that's all. I think if we all can get to the point where we try to understand, to walk into someone else's shoes, I think that kind of frees up a whole lot of things. Even though we may not have the answers, we may not know what to do, but the fact that, you know, you're seeking to understand versus being understood, I think that kind of goes a long way.